Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel where I'm tracking my journey to become an Ironman. Let's start this week. So, if you're one of the more observant people watching this channel, you'd know I'm a bit of a bigger runner, bigger athlete. I don't think I'm an athlete yet. A bigger trainee Ironman, that's what I am. I'm a bit stockier, a bit partial to cheesecake, I can't lie. It is my vice. It's not my only one, but cheesecake's the biggest killer. It is the biggest killer of gains. So I should probably stop eating it, but I like cheesecake. Anyway, I'm digressing, I digress. This week is gonna be a little different. It's gonna be a little recap, a little list of things I've learned as a bigger runner, a stockier build. Important things that I feel like if you're new to running, if you have come out of the gym and you have a bodybuilder's build and you're a bigger guy, or you just got a bit more timber on you, like myself, this video is for you. So first piece of advice, stretching and warming up. Now, anyone who's doing any kind of exercise needs to stretch, but if you got a bit more timber, a bit more weight going through the joints, ankles, knees and hips, stretching is even more crucial. If you want to warm up by walking a mile before you even start training, which I sometimes do, or you want to do static stretches like this, often I will do both, stretch and walk a mile or so before I even start properly training. And that is because with more impact going through my feet, through my ankles, through my knees, I really don't want to be getting injured. And as a bigger lad, I'm more prone to it. Also, I'm accident prone, so there's that. So, second piece of advice, fueling and hydration based on body build. Now, smaller, slimmer, more streamlined people will be able to get away with less fuel, basically. They'll be able to fuel less because their body requires less because they're smaller. If you're higher muscle mass, you need protein and carbs in your long exercises, because otherwise you will fatigue, you will flag, and you'll probably do damage, or you'll be at a higher risk, let's say, of doing damage to your muscles. If you're like me and you're just a bit stockier, high carbs, sodium and iron, because you have a bigger space to cool down. So obviously sweat contains a lot of salt. You might have accidentally tasted your sweat before. It's gross. It's full of salt. It's like seawater. That all needs to be replaced. So whilst you're on long runs, long cycles, long swims, whatever, you need to be taking on board sodium, carbs, and iron. They're the big three if you look like me. Third, and potentially most important, attire, shoes, shorts or trousers, leggings, whatever you want to run in, top, hat sometimes, not a top hat, wouldn't recommend running in a top hat. The difference between running in your bog standard trainers and trainers designed for distance is insane. I do all my short runs in Nike Revolutions just because they're comfortable, they're quick, they're easy, and they're good in a short distance. Anything over 3 miles, it's into the big boys. I run in Nimbus Gel 25s, which are Asics, and they are incredible for anything 3 miles and upwards. The longest run I've done in them is 15 miles, and I felt like I was running on a marshmallow. They are amazing. Moving up, we have shorts. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm a terrible one for chafing. Chafing in the groinular area is not what you want. It is the worst thing that can happen whilst you're out on a long run or cycle. So when I do run, I normally have, the shorts I normally wear are lined. They have a snug little like nylon lining that will cradle the crown jewels and keep everything away from each other. Stops the rubbing, stops the chafing. It is amazing. I definitely recommend investing. Obviously tops, you don't have to wear a t-shirt if you don't want to, but you can. If I'm just poodling about, I'll wear a t-shirt. Otherwise, I have breathable, thin, quick drying tops that were £15 more expensive than your average t-shirt, but it's so worth it. You can wash it and it'll be dry within 3 hours. So if you want to wear it and then do a second run in the evening in the same top, it'll be washed and clean. The amount of damage I did to myself through chafing when I didn't know what the correct clothes to wear and where to get them from was ridiculous. I actually once put myself out of training for 4 days whilst I waited for the skin to grow back in places where you don't want to be losing skin. Invest the extra £15 in the top, the extra £10, £15 in the shorts. And I know getting the right shoes can be expensive. My Nimbus gels were 170 quid. They're so worth it. And they last. They are built to go miles, and they do. Advice numero 4, the importance of zone training when you're just a random athlete training for anything is top tier. When you weigh a bit more and you have to then look at the layout of each. So your standard athlete is say 170 pounds and their max BPM at a 25-year-old could be 185 BPM. Now me, I'm 25 years old. My max in zone 5, which is the top, it's like when you're pushing like crazy and you want to get those miles in. Zone 5 heart rate is for efforts, when you want to really get miles in and really try. And my max heart rate currently is 175. So I'm 10 BPM off, which isn't crazy, but it makes a huge difference because then everything else becomes 10 to 15 BPM less. So zone 2, for me, 130 is where I hover around. Now, you're probably wondering how to tell if you're in zone 2. And I'll be honest, it's easy. The first way to tell if you're in zone 2 is you can maintain a conversation. The best way to do that is run around with a camera and talk to yourself. That's how I do it. Second, and potentially more efficient, makes you seem less crazy, is nose breathing. If you can run only breathing through your nose, you know you're doing zone 2 correctly. The last one, the 5th piece of advice I have for you is simple. Stay consistent. Stay consistent with training, stay consistent with your diet. If all you want to do is run for fun on a Sunday, run every Sunday. Make sure you do. If you're like me and you decided you want to do an Ironman, plan for it. Take that leap, but stay consistent with it. Stay consistent with the diet. That's my biggest downfall. That's how I can say I've learnt this, because I've done it wrong. I've done it wrong and I've learnt and I've gone from there. So stay consistent, folks. Keep pushing, and if you're a new runner, I hope at least one of these pieces of advice has helped you out. Let's keep it going. Keep it maintained. Keep it consistent. And with that being said, you have a lovely rest of your Sunday, and I will see you all in a week. I've clicked record. If you're watching this after the countdown, the video's over, my friend. Like and subscribe. I appreciate you. You have a good night.